Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here. Hope you guys are having a great day, and welcome to a video that I've been meaning to make for a very long time. But I think the straw that broke the camel's back was the announcement from Wizard101 last week that they're releasing yet another Spellemental pack. This time they were making a Wysteria Spellemental pack, which is just the same pack, except now it has Spellements in it. Now, for people that simply do not know what Spellements are, maybe you're a new player or something, I'll do it very briefly. Basically, if you go to your spell writing tab on your spells, you can see all these different spells that you can upgrade by gathering reagent-like things called Spellements. You'll notice that the numbers to get one are very high. Like, you might need 75 Spellements to upgrade a reindeer knight. As you go up the tiers, the need to get more Spellements increases, and often what you'll notice is that at the very end of a spell writing tier, there will be a very powerful version of a spell that no one can conceivably get without spending hundreds of dollars of money. I think for a lot of people, the most notorious example of this is the tier 5 Nautilus, which is absolutely nuts the further you go. So basically what happens, right? You can go down 2 different paths, but one version of the spell, for the same number of pips as every other version of the spell, does something that's insane, which is that it steals 2 different charms. Basically, what this Nautilus is saying is, if you have the money, you can completely do something that Fire as a school doesn't do. You can do a ton of damage, steal bunches of blades, and essentially create the whole idea of blade removal. You could create that as part of your school identity, just in case you spend enough money. Now, these Celestia spells were the beginning of a series of Spellements that they've put out. And I'll be honest, some of them are a lot more broken than others. So that brings me to the point of this video. I think recently, this is just something that I've heard a lot, but also in general, it seems like Spellements are becoming more and more a part of the game, but in a way and in a nature that a lot of people do not like. They're increasingly becoming locked behind packs. Now, I won't say that this is the same for every Spellement in general, right? I mean, literally, the new spells are actually, surprisingly, you can get most of these new spells, like Sprite Swarm for life, Infestation, Legend Golem. A lot of these trainable spells, and even the ones that the shadow spells from Caramel, you could actually get these Spellements very easily. You could do Beast Moon for some of them. You could literally just farm bosses for some of them. There's a reason why I have the 7-pip version of Shad spells on literally 5 to 7 characters. What I find really weird, and considering the fact, right, that recently we've had not 1 but 2 new packs with Spellements, right? We've had the Ravenwood Rangers lore pack that gives Spellements for Camp Bandit, for Berry Surprise, and Splash Squatch. And they've added the Wysteria Spellement pack for Angry Snow Pigs, Pigsy, which is a really big one. Since we've seen 6 new Spellements come in, I'm wondering, what is the future when it comes to these? And why is there such a discrepancy between the ones that come in packs and ones that don't? I feel like the ones that don't come in packs, like Daybreaker, the Shad spells, the trainable spells, those never seem to be so broken. They always seem to be farmable. They always seem to be something that you can get and upgrade. And honestly, they like for example, like these Shad spells, they're a very good example of how Spellements can really help you customize, and they're good. Like, there's clearly an example of where Spellements don't have to be busted beyond belief. And yet, for some reason, update after update after update, KingsIsle insists on putting out packs where the only way to get that spell is through buying many packs to get Spellements. I've heard this argument, and I think it's actually, like, I'm starting to, like, actually, like, agree with it a lot more. But nowadays, bro, it's actually, like, they're guaranteeing that you'll buy packs to get spells if they're new, if you really want it. Because before, you could open up 1 pack, get very lucky with a spell drop. You could just open up 1 and that's it, right? But now it seems like the overwhelming majority of these Spellement packs, if you're lucky, they'll give you 1 or 2. I find it especially frustrating that, like, I know, like, we know this. If you've played the game a lot, you know how big Pigsy is. Like, it's a big deal. The recipe to craft Pigsy is noticeably harder. The amber requirements are more. The actual treasure cards are extremely rare because every damn Life Wizard wants to get it. They know what they're doing by putting out a Pigsy Spellment, and they know what they're doing by making the drop rate egregiously low. I've seen people open these packs and get maybe 1 or 2, and you need 35 to unlock just the first version of it. Once you get the first version, you might need something in the realm of 70 in order to upgrade, and then after that, if you want to go to tier 3, you want to get maybe like 120. Basically, they're incentivizing you to buy more and more packs. This is becoming a really big issue because what I've noticed is that it's become accompanied by this pattern where before, when a spell used to drop from a pack, there used to be a craftable alternative in a year. We have not seen that with the Celestian pack, and I'm starting to get really, really nervous about that. This pack still has spellements like Nautilus, like Celestial Intervention, all of these damn spells that you can still only get the spellements from here. You can only really learn the spells from this pack. I honestly think we need some transparency on what's gonna happen, because honestly, we've seen examples where they're willing to listen to the community, like with the Troll Spellment. We've seen examples of where they've actually gotten spellments right, like with the learnable spells like Grenadier, like Mockenspiel, or even similar ones like Sprite Swarm or Inferno Salamander, where you can do Beast Moon to get the spellment. But we need an explanation on the pack spellments, because right now in PvP, for example, a fire with Nautilus, well, I mean, I don't even pack Nautilus as much because, you know, I've moved past using it as much, but let's say that I were to pack a few, right? A fire with the tier 5 Nautilus automatically beats a fire without tier 5 Nautilus, and that's because if you blade even once without an Aegis, you are screwed. It steals and then it hits. Like, if both players have it, alright, then at least there's an element of who's gonna blade first, how are they gonna manage their Aegises, how are they gonna bait someone to Nautilus so that maybe they can catch them slipping a little bit. At least there's an element of strategy, but as soon as you put this behind a pack and only behind a pack, this is not strategy anymore. It's just that people who do have the option of using this happen to pay, or they might be in a position like me where people gifted me, right? So that's one element that's really, really bad. But the other element is that there are strategies that you simply cannot do. You can't really get feedback from the community on whether a spell is even good or not if nobody's out here trying to get those spells because they're just gated behind a pack. I really would like to test out Splash Squatch. For me, I would love to test that out on my myth. I really want to know how the damage version of it, just the damage version, I want to know how it fits in with a setup where, especially when people will mana burn you a lot, especially maybe when you just need a good finisher, especially when they don't have a shield. I would love to have a hit that's not like Keeper, where it takes a huge damage hit for the trap, but it's just high damage. I would love to use it, but I really can't, because I would have to open up many, many packs to even have a chance of getting it. And don't even get me started with something like Camp Bandit. It literally introduces a mechanic that you actually might want to actually have on a life, right? So maybe someone will feint you and you want to remove it. Maybe you just want to use a trap against somebody, or, you know, maybe someone mythic fuels and you use that trap against them, and then they can't do a King Arc combo properly, right? There are definitely scenarios where I could see life using Camp Bandit, but at the end of the day, you put it behind a paywall, and for someone who wants to try out a new strategy, that's just discouraging. My biggest issue is there are players that will not open up packs for Spellements, and they would be more than down to spend the hours and hours of playtime, by the way, buying membership maybe even for it, in order to farm for Spellements, but that just doesn't seem to be on King's Owl's radar. I can't tell you how many hours it took for me to just get one 7-pip spell, much less how many hours it took for me to get 7-pip Spellements on 5 out of my 6 main wizards. This took a lot of time, and guess where I was farming it? I was farming it in Caramel, where either I had to buy a very pricey zone or I had to get membership. It's not like they're not making money off of these Spellements, it's just they seem to want to make more money by making different rules for different Spellements that are just very, very overpowered. Why not put it out in a pack and then add it as a drop in a late game boss? Nobody has an issue with that. Yes, you still have to pay membership or buy the zone, but at least you don't have to open up packs, which is pure and utter RNG. It is literally gambling in a lot of ways. When Spellements first came out, especially the first few days, I was willing to give it a chance, especially with like the Troll Spellment. I did use it a lot, especially with the Celestian spells. I did use them a lot, but I'm starting to see a pattern where there seems to be no indication that some of these Spellments are ever going to be available for the average player. In fact, it seems like the average player will only be given some Spellements like Daybreak, or some Spellements like the ones that they can learn from their own school. So what's that about? And I think we need an answer from King's Owl, maybe on a KI Live, maybe on something. I'm very comfortable saying that they've broken away from pattern. There's no longer spells coming out of packs, and then in a short time after, they're available to the public to craft. It seems like now they're available in Spellment form, and then they're never available, not even in Spellment form. I mean, why can't we just craft even Spellements? Why can't we have like 1 amber per spellment. I know that seems crazy, but at least that would be a start, right? Why is there not even a slight push towards even craftable spellements? There is no push for any of these spells to be available, and I hate that because, one, players like me that I really think I would love to farm for these, I don't have that opportunity. Players like me that want to use some of these new spells in PvP, we feel very uncomfortable even endorsing something like spellements in packs. And people who do end up buying these packs, they have such an unfair advantage, especially in same school matchups, that nobody seems to be doing anything about at KingsIsle. I'll be honest, a lot of the things that they've done recently, I'm really a fan of. Free PvP is great. I like that they made Krakatopia and Wizard City free. Like, you've seen those videos, and they're actually really good changes. What I don't like is that in a span of like a month, we've had 6 new spellements added into the game that either have a very, very difficult crafting recipe, or they just do not have an alternative whatsoever. You have to buy the pack. At the date that I'm making this video, there are 6 spellements that you can only get through a pack, and another 3 that are very, very low drop rates that are in high demand that are honestly very hard to craft as is. At least if these 2 packs can catch up to this, maybe I'll have less to complain about. But what I really want to see is craftable spellements and farmable spellements from endgame bosses. People are literally buying those zones and buying membership for them, so why not? You're literally making money off of them, but now you need another way to do it? I just don't get that. I don't know, maybe I'm understanding the spellment problem wrong. I'm always open to new, perspectives on this. Let me know what you guys think about the spellment problem. I think it's getting worse. I think a lot of people think it's getting worse. Let me know if you think it's getting worse and why. Also, why do you think they keep doing this behind packs? I'm sure they get a lot of revenue from packs. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure. But there's a way to make packs like something that people will buy without making it the only way to get actual spells. Like, spells are what a wizard's about, you know? And I think that's why people are really, they're annoyed about it. I would love to try out all these new spells, but I just can't. As always, y'all, when it comes to these types of videos, these videos only work when y'all give me your opinion. So let me know what you guys think of Spellements and Wiz. And do you think some of them, like Grenadier and all the ones that I talked about, some of them are good? Do you think some of them are awful? Which ones do you like and which ones do you not? And what are some other ways maybe they could make these Spellements more accessible to the normal player? I'd love to see all the suggestions, because honestly, I have a lot of them, but frustratingly, they don't seem to be listening. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub, and tell me if you want more issues that you guys want me to talk about. I think this is a big one right now, so that's why I really wanted to make a video about it. As always, if somebody has not told they're awesome today, they doing something wrong, my mans. Check out all the links in the description. Stay awesome. And yeah, y'all.